Just welcome everybody, whether you're here physically, well, digitally, I guess, in real time or looking at this at another time. All of the lessons, even some of my summer lessons are online on YouTube. If you want to just follow that, follow that YouTube channel or whatever. With generally speaking, I put the attachments with them. If not, you can always get them from an email or ask me for sure. A couple of things I wanted to talk about. We're going to look at today learning style. What type of learner are you? And don't say I'm not a learner, because you are. Everybody is. And then want to talk about a little bit about looking into visuals, and we're going to use that and actually use the social studies workbook, the student workbook from for GED. So we'll actually go over some of that, and I will forward you that attachment, as well as I am going to give you the answer sheet for unit 1 and 2 on the social studies. But beforehand, let's look at a couple of quick clips, and then we'll get into, I looked at attendance the last couple of weeks, and we do need to, because the bulk of this class is going to be done outside of the 1 hour that I see you. I only see you 2 hours a week. Love to see you more, but COVID got in the way. So when we're looking at the week of October 10th, you guys, 10th through the 17th, had 6.5 hours on IXL, which is like, booyah, that's awesome stuff, right? The week after, I don't know what happened. I don't know if you want to make me cry or what the deal is, but we only had 2 hours and 44 minutes on IXL, okay? So I do thoroughly believe that the time you put into this equals out to be the time that you're going to, or the benefit that you will see from that. So let me encourage you to definitely get going on IXL, because again, 1 week we had almost 7 hours, and then the next week 3 hours. That's no bueno. Then, because everything's digital, which is good and bad at the same time, because I can catch you, when we were looking at News ELA articles the week of the 10th through the 17th, 3 people read something. That's it. The week of the 17th through the 20th, 6 people read something. So we did double up. Hopefully next week I can say that 9 or 12 people read something on News ELA. That, I think, is even more important, okay? I really firmly believe that the amount of time that you dedicate to News ELA and IXL, especially News ELA, nonfiction, we'll talk about that even more, nonfiction or informational text, it's going to be essential to your actual increasing your reading level, as well as how well you'll do on the actual GED. That's the goal. We're all trying to pass the GED. How many people have looked into and or have taken one or more of the practice tests?
I've taken
I have.
A couple people. I think 3 I haves. Let's continue to do so. If you have not purchased those, I want you to say what?
I'm talking to Sheree.
Oh, okay. On Saturday, okay, which is Halloween, if you put in 50 off, 50 OFF on your practice test as the code, you will be paying $10.49 for all 4 sections of the practice test. If you want to buy one practice test, you'll pay, instead of $6, you'll pay $3 if you use this code 50 OFF. Okay? I just want to save you guys money.
Okay.
And I always encourage, especially some of you are like, well, I'm not going to do the math one. You don't have, you can purchase it before Saturday, and it lasts 6 full months. They'll let you take it 6 months from now. Okay. So you're not buying it. If you don't think you're ready, that's perfectly fine. Just do that, and you don't have to use it only within 6 months. Okay. So let's, I'm going to screen. Somebody said,
I think the 50 off ends October 31st.
Yeah.
I was just on the website, so I think it ends October 31st.
Yeah, it ends on Saturday. Okay.
But you don't have to take the test.
I
You
what?
have 6 months to take the test.
Say that one more time.
You have 6 months to take the test.
It's a practice test. You can take it at home. You can take it here. You can take it really, I recommend you take it in like a mock test way. So like in a quiet room without a bunch of kids doing whatever, you know?
Yeah, he said that you can take the test within 6 months. If you buy it on
Yeah.
Saturday, you have 6 months to take it.
Yeah,
You
you'll
don't have
have,
to take it right away.
so it's not, because people freak out. They're like, I bought all 4 sections and I have to take it this week. No, you can take them whenever you want. Like if you're waiting to take math, 6 months from now, you can take it. Okay. So let me screen share real quick. We're going to talk about, where am I? Right. Okay. So let's look at not history. We're going to look at the watch later. So that's what I thought. And last week we looked at informational text. I sent you an email today. I do want you, this is quick, like 3 minutes and 30 seconds, discovering, really looking at your learning style, okay? What type of learner are you?
Here's Jonathan studying for a test, and studying and studying and studying. And here he is getting his test results. All that studying, and he still got an F. Why?
Oh no, Jonathan.
The thing is, there's no one right way to study. Some methods might work great for one person and not at all for others. Everybody learns differently. In order to find a study method that's best for you, it's important to know your learning style. The 4 most popular learning styles are visual, auditory, reading, writing, and kinesthetic.
So let's
or hands-on.
So think right now, are you a visual learner, audio learner, or learning from sound? Are you a learner from writing perhaps, or actually doing? Now, most of us are probably, if you can see my mouse, we're probably here, okay? Or you're not one or the other. You could be a mixture. I think sometimes for music at least, I can memorize stuff. So that would make me some sort of auditory learner. Visually, for sure, if I'm taking tests and my textbook has similar way of wording things and that the test does, I will do well on the test. Writing things down helps. Doing, I think, is everybody who is a kinesthetic learner. Most people are kinesthetic learners. If I say, this is how you kick a ball and you can learn how to kick that ball, you have that skill set. So knowing which one you are is huge, because if you're not a very good visual learner, maybe you need to utilize what we talked about a couple of weeks ago, putting Newsy having it read to you, or reading out loud, or learning how to read out loud in your mind. So you can.
Mr. Turner,
Yes, sir.
I do it all the time.
You do which all the time?
I have it read to me all the time.
Okay, so you're using it to have it read. That is perfect. I have no problem with that. That's going to increase your
Where
speed.
have you been?
Stop it. Stop being smart. You're in class. He's being a smart aleck.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
No biggie.
For most people, one of these methods will work best, but it's also a combination of different styles. To discover your learning style, you can complete an online assessment. There's a wide variety of them available, consisting of multiple choice questions. However, you can also observe yourself and your previous learning experiences to get an idea of how you learn best. Let's circle back to Jonathan.
Jonathan.
When he's in class and his teacher is lecturing, he gets distracted pretty easily.
Mhm.
Words tend to go in one ear and out the other. But when his teacher starts using visuals, Jonathan finds it easier to focus and understand the material.
Huh.
So he might be a visual learner. Now think about your history. How have you enjoyed learning in the past? Do you prefer watching over listening? Do you enjoy reading instead? Or maybe you learn best by doing, with hands-on experience. If none of these seem to grab you, give them each a try and see which one you tend to drift towards. Each learning style has its own study methods that work best with it. Let's take a look at how Jonathan and a few of his classmates study. As a visual learner, Jonathan finds it helpful to color code his notes. He
Mhm.
finds it helps him to organize information and
If you're not doing that on Newsy LA, you're breaking my heart, guys. You gotta visually highlight things because you'll have that opportunity on GED, on the regular GED.
internalize it better. He also creates diagrams while studying, finding that they help him to better understand certain structures and ideas. Jonathan watches videos too, finding them helpful for extra information. Ruby is more of an auditory learner. She likes to study in a group and discuss the material with others. Sometimes she'll read her notes out loud because it helps her to hear what she's studying. In some classes, Ruby will record the lecture, with her teacher's permission, of course, so that she can go back and listen to it later. Terrell finds that he learns best by reading and writing. He takes substantial notes during class and reads over them often.
He's a note
When he's trying
taker.
to memorize something, he'll often write it out. He also makes sure to read and reread any materials his teacher has assigned the class. Raya is a kinesthetic learner. She's got a lot of energy and likes doing things. Labs and hands-on activities help her to understand certain ideas and topics. Sometimes she'll review her material while she's walking around. She also likes to take breaks in order to release some of her energy, allowing her to focus when she returns to studying. All four of these students are studying the same material, but they're doing so in different ways. Now, this doesn't guarantee that they'll all get the same grades, but by determining their learning style and finding study methods that work for them, they just might find themselves getting better results.
GCF Global.
So going back to this visual real quick,
Reading and kinesthetic.
kind of the big idea is utilizing your time wisely. I just I actually officiated a wedding last weekend. And I found myself rewriting the script multiple times. And then when I actually presented it, I almost had it memorized. So I found that to be learning. So in a certain situation, I guess if I'm presenting something as a speech, I want to write that out physically. So I think that's a combo of writing and kinesthetic learning. You might have kids, or if you're ADHD like me or ADD, you need to get up and do things. I used to have students when I worked at the middle school, I used to say, okay, it's your turn to race down the hallway and back and come back, and then they could focus again. And that would be helpful. And then of course, some of you are visual learners, from PowerPoints are very helpful. You go check out YouTube, things like that. And then our auditory learners, I think that's the slimmest version. So let's look at text features. I think we want to go back this far. Maybe.
So you are a ordained minister?
Yes, actually.
So am I.
I don't know how good of one I am, but whatever. We try.
Cool.
It was more of a favor for my friends. So I want to utilize reading comprehension, interpreting text features, because we're going to look at text features in social studies today. Some of you love this stuff, maps, charts. And sometimes when you see numbers, some of you guys freak out. So we're going to look at this. I'm actually going to save that for later so I can, right, let me admit somebody just popped in. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Who is the phone number? If you could put in the chat the phone number. Who, so I can do attendance. I have somebody that just popped in with a phone number. Okay, I want to get everybody on. Either that or write your name in it. So at the end, so I can put it in. All right, so let me screen share again with this reading comprehension text features, interpreting text features. Oops. There we go. Come on.
Hello, readers. Today I'm going to be talking about text features, which is
Woo!
to say the parts
stuff.
of a text that aren't just words. We look at text features to get a better understanding of what the text is all about. Although they're not words, like I said, text features help our reading comprehension. So what's a good example of a text feature? Well, let's start with, say, a map.
Yes.
Maps are a great
We've
example
seen maps.
of
We
a
love
feature
them.
of the text that isn't made up of words. So this is a social studies textbook. This section is about Egypt. I've turned to this page where
Oh,
there
there's
is
Egypt.
a map. What is this map of? Well, we can look at this part here. This text here over on the side is a caption. It's something that can tell us about an image.
How many of us look at a caption or a map or whatever? We only read this body of it and then we go to the questions. We don't even look at this. I know I do it. I've done it before. It's a test-taking skill to understand that there's a ton of information here and there's a ton of information you can extract from this visual. So test writers, people who are creating tests, they're going to ask questions about these areas that they know we, for whatever reason, decide to just skip over. So let's not let them have their glory.
And the map is labeled, so it's about the Nile River and how the Nile River is fed from rainfall to the south, the water travels to the north. Here's Egypt up here. Don't focus too much on the details of this being about the Nile and stuff. Really what we're talking about is here is an image, there is a caption next to the image. Reading the caption helps us understand what's in the image, and looking at the image helps us understand what's in the caption. So we've got maps, we've got images, and that can be illustrations,
Pictures,
photos, blueprints, anything really.
paintings.
And if we go back to our social studies textbook, we can see here there's this image. And just looking at the image on its own, we might not be able to tell what that is exactly. But again, there is another helpful little caption over to the side that says this is an aerial view of the Nile. So now we know what this is. And that can help ground us as we go through the rest of the text, which is also, I assume, about the Nile River and ancient Egypt.
Yes.
The caption and its picture are two halves of a whole. They're both helping you understand the other. Other useful text features include charts, diagrams, and graphs, which can include things like timelines. This page here has a table. You can see up at the top, this top row is labeled Ancient Egypt. And then on the left, we have all the different periods of Egyptian history. And on the right, all the dates associated with those periods. There's also a timeline in this lesson.
Love it.
And this one has a bunch of different text elements, right? So we have, it's not a traditional looking timeline, but you can see that it's arranged from top to bottom, oldest to most recent. Those are just some of the many options that are available to you when you look at a text. Remember that when you're reading a passage, it's not just the words, it's everything on the page. Sometimes I even like to familiarize myself with the charts or the diagrams or the images on the page before I start reading, before I really get down to the business of reading the paragraphs, because that helps me get rooted. It helps me anchor myself in what the text is going to be about. I look at the pictures, I skim the captions just to say, okay, what's going on here?
What's
Cool,
happening?
we're talking about rivers, we're talking about ancient Egypt. I'm ready. And building those skills of readiness and being able to anchor yourself in any text that you encounter is what's going to make you a strong reader.
It's going to make you huge. All right, let's look, and I'll stop sharing. Okay, Cassius, welcome back.
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
Before we started this meeting, I was finishing up my UCLA, and a question came up, and it said it was asking the informal tone. Does that kind of relate to regarding the text?
the text, like tone would be what that author is trying to get across in regards to, and we can go over that. That could be a lesson as well. But that's like the overarching kind of feeling of what you're getting. So is it a persuasive tone? It's like it's really close to the purpose of the text.
Okay.
Text features, like I don't want you to get confused with that and the text features that we're looking at.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if they were related or not.
I would say that they're less related than like tone, and author's purpose and tone are very, very similar. Okay. And I believe that the visuals are very different. You can use them for any type of author's purpose or tone. So, and maybe this will help you with a little bit or better of an idea here. Let's start sharing, and you'll get a copy of this. I have given you thus far, you can all see this, right?
Yes.
I've given you social studies. Where is it? Social studies. I'm sorry, this is science. So science, unit 1. So if you guys could finish unit 1, and again, I'm literally scanning this and finish that section of unit 1. We'll add to it, and then we'll get to the unit test at the end. And then we have not gotten to determining sequence, which is fine in language arts. Social studies, we finished all of unit 1. Okay, we talked maps, and there is a review. How many people have looked at the review, which is page 12 through I think 15. Anybody look at the review? It just goes over the different maps. If you would take some time to do that, I will be giving you the answer sheet for unit 1 and 2 for social studies, okay? Like the cheat sheet. It has all the answers so you can go back and fix your answers if they're wrong. Oh, this was the visual I wanted to show you from the week's progress of the 10th through the 17th. We had 6.5 hours. And then from the 17th to 24th, we had 2 hours and 44 minutes. So we would like to increase that much more, okay? So this is unit 1 and 2 answers. It's like the back of the book, okay? So you can check that out. I will send that in my attachment today. And then we're looking at real quick, and we will look at unit 2, which is looking at the table of contents here. We're interpreting tables, relating geography and history, main idea and details, which is everything, categorizing, sequence, cause and effect. Very similar to what you're looking at in the language arts as well. So let's try and look at geography and how that is going on with history. Somebody want to read this paragraph to understand? Anyone? No one?
To understand how to relate geography and history, you must first analyze the context of a physical, political, or other type of map, and how that context connects with a historical period or event. All of the map skills you have learned thus far will help you make these connections. As with other, sorry, hold on a second. As with other areas of the GED test, geography and United States history questions will test your ability to interpret information at various depths of knowledge levels through the use of complex reading skills and thinking skills.
So yeah, they're gonna make you read, they're gonna make you think. That's just how it is, okay? And then by practicing the skill of relating geography and history, you will improve your study and test taking abilities, especially as related to GED study. social studies test, study the passage and map below, then answer the question follow. So we're looking, if somebody wants to read the first paragraph here, we're looking at Northwest Ordinance. So in the 1787, anyone?
In 1787, Congress created a territory of west of Pennsylvania, north of the Ohio River, east of the Mississippi River, and south of the Great Lakes. Northwest Ordinance established a government and the formation of 3 to 5 states.
All right, so the Northwest Ordinance established a government and formation of 3 to 5 states. Somebody want to read the next section? There shall be
formed in the said territory not less than 3 nor more than 5 states, and the boundaries of the states shall become fixed and established as follows. And it is further understood and declared that the boundaries of these 3 states shall be subject so far to be altered to form 1 or 2 states in that part of the said territory which lies north of an east and west line drawn through the southerly bend or extreme of Lake Michigan.
All right, so what I did is just say with this, it basically is bringing the history along with your map skills, okay? So this was the ordinance that in this area, you could have no more than 3 to 5 states, okay? And there ends up being 5, we know, okay? And the territories that we look at now, okay? We have Ohio, Michigan, right? Michigan, Minnesota. What's this note here? Note, the details in the passage concerning the minimum and maximum number of states, how many states are described. Now compare and contrast the information and the information on the map. So we have 5 states, what I can see 5 states here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, compared to the 3 to 5 that are supposed to be there. So ultimately, how many complete states were formed from the Northwest Territory? 3, 4, 5, 6. What do you guys get?
5.
Looks like 5 to me. Very, very good. Okay, awesome, awesome. So moving on, we're filling in the blank, which is another one that we can do. So reading this map and the passage, fill your answer, the box below. So we're looking at the Great Migration. A migration is a movement of people. Looks like the arrows point north, okay, from the southern states. And there's a difference between the northern and southern states. We can now think that that might be, could be, is that Civil War time? Is that post-Civil War time? Is it pre-Civil War time? When was it? Okay. All right, so does somebody want to read this section in the early 1900s?
In the early 1900s, more than 1 million African Americans, pushed by discrimination and poor economic rural South, migrated north and west in an event that became known as the Great Migration. The migration began around 1916, lessened during the Great Depression, and decreased again during World War II and after. Northern cities such as New York, Chicago, Cleveland, and great African American population increases. Manufacturing and other urban jobs led African Americans to these cities. Moving to cities also caused a great growth in African American literacy and an African American culture explosion. Many Southern African artists and citizens come to New York City because it was seen as a culture of the United States.
All right, so conversion, New York, city, the culture of the center of the United States. Okay, all right, so let's look. The easternmost state to which African Americans from Florida, Georgia migrated during the Great Migration was. So the easternmost state. What is the easternmost state? And we can, I wonder if I can do this. Can I do that? We can add a comment. Good. Make it, we'll move it. All right, so we're going from Florida, Georgia. We're following this along and we're going, we know that north, north, east, southwest. We're looking at the one that's going to be the closest to the right. Where are we going? Where's the most east?
Maryland? No,
So MA, what does MA stand
MA.
for?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Okay,
Yeah.
where my Red Sox reside. So we're posting that there and you can see it. So that's a fill-in. You may have to do a fill-in. All you would simply, I mean, again, you are using information from the text, your visual information that, okay, Florida, Georgia, fall line up. We're going the farthest east. It looks like Mass. Now, if it went up here to Maine, then it would be Maine potentially, okay? All right, let's continue. All right. We're starting the map of passage, reads the question, then fill the answer in the boxes below. In 1845, writer John Sullivan claimed that it would be the fulfillment of our manifest destiny to overspread the continent allotted by Providence. Proving O'Sullivan correct, settlers cut trails and pushed boundaries of the United States west near the Pacific Ocean. Settlers traveling to Los Angeles, California from Independence, Missouri would most likely have used the blank. So we are looking at these different trails and we need to go, they're coming from Missouri, Independence, Missouri. Oops, what did I do? Oops. So they're coming from here and they're going to Los Angeles, California. They're going to use which they would have used, most likely would have used, what would we call this? I think it has two answers. What do you guys think?
The Santa Fe and the, is it Gila or Gila?
Gila. Where's my writing thing? Oh yeah, we have two answers right there. So it's Santa Fe for the first one. I can write Santa Fe Trail. And we're posting that. There it is. And then we're going to post another one. So Santa Fe and the Gila Trail. Very good. We're crazy, so we're putting exclamation points. All right, so let's move on. Now let's get into, I don't think we're going to get very, very far in here, but we're looking at interpreting tables, which is for some people super fun. Other people don't love it, okay? One way to present facts and facts, statistics, and other details in a clear, well-organized manner is to use a table. Tables allow authors to visually present information that might be too lengthy, okay, too lengthy or complex to describe in a narrative. So if you were to write this out, this would be very, very boring to read. It's easier to see in a table form. Tables organize information by rows and columns. Rows run across the table, okay, from left to right, and then columns run up and down, okay, up and down the table from top to bottom. Reading the title of the table as well as the heading for its rows and columns can help you interpret and use the information presented in the table. Again, this is all the same thing it says by practicing, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so the title can be found above the table, below the table, or in the first row of the table. The title identifies the subject. Subject here is estimated population of Virginia colony. And then B, the headings of each column or row identify the information located in that table. So we're looking at a year, and now we're looking at the population of that particular year. Pretty easy, right? Fairly easy. Now let's answer this. The details in the table support which of the following conclusions? Many people left Virginia to settle other colonies between 1700 and 1750. So 1700 to 1750, the population increased times 5. So did they leave Virginia
No.
if it quintupled? I would say no, that's not it. Virginia's colonial population peaked before 1750. Looks like 1750. It looks like that is not accurate. The population of Virginia doubled every 20 years between 1630 and 1690. So 1630 to 1690, every 20 years it doubled. No, this is like 9 times. That's a doubling, and this is not a doubling. So that's not it. So it has to be D, but let's look. Virginia's population grew significantly between 1630 and 1780, excuse me. Yeah, from 2,500 people to 538,000 people. We have pretty decent growth in less than 100 years. That's a pretty good answer. So I'm circling that guy. We got it, right? All right, so let's do one more, and then you guys are going to have some time between for math. Okay, so we're using this table again. Origins of migrants to America from American colonies, 1700 to 1750. Okay, so we have people migrating from Africa, Ireland, Germany, Wales and England, Scotland, and then other. Based on the table, from which location other than Africa did the greatest number of immigrants come? So we're not counting Africa, which is 278,400 people. We are going to pick the biggest number here. So we are going with what?
Ireland.
Ireland. All right. And we are going to add, so that's Ireland, which is cool. And then what happened here? I want to write again. The immigration of 278,500 Africans to American colonies between 1700 to 1750 is likely due to the blank. What do you guys think? You have to have a little background knowledge here. What do you guys think? Anyone? Nothing? How about slavery?
That's
So
what I
therefore-
thought, but I wasn't too sure.
You gotta say it. If you feel it with your gut, say it. All right, so I'm stopping sharing, okay? And we'll finish this another time. So I'm gonna stay on. You have 9 minutes before you have to go on to math. Lucky. So lucky to have math. If you want to stick around with me, have any questions, comments, whatever you want. Welcome back, Cassius. I see Cassius. Welcome back. Long time no see. Hope you guys have a great weekend. If you don't stay on, and we will see you. All right. All right, my friends. See you later.
Happy
Bye.
Halloween, y'all.
Happy Halloween.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.
Halloween, bye.
All right, guys.
Have a good night. Don't work too hard.
All right. I promise I won't. See you guys. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.